Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Lilly Loves Tarot. I do appreciate you. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I just want to give some Lilly gems. For those of you who have been with me, you know that I talk about some of the topics. I'm going to call these hot topics that show up in tarot readings. And I am on the front lines here, my lovelies. I'm on the front lines when I'm doing these tarot readings, and I will tell you that my clients are always putting me on the tee. You know, they put me on the tee. They keep me well informed. I will tell you. But I know sometimes the tarot readings, especially when you're doing a general reading, is not the same as a personal reading. Okay. So I always will say in my videos that the energies may or may not resonate with you. And that is because we are all on a different journey, right? So you know that if you're looking for something more specific, and sometimes the readings actually may come out a little bit more personal. Sometimes it just hits, Um, and that's why we will say sometimes it's like almost like a personal reading, because sometimes the messages will really hit home. But I always believe that when I am doing a video, that it is a message for someone. Okay, it may not necessarily be for everyone, but the energies are the energies. And what that tells me is that there's somebody out here who may be going through it. They may be going through a new love. They could be going through some healing that they need to do, or heartbreak, or it's somebody that is preparing for transition to new, bigger, and better things. Okay. And it just depends, because we all have free will. And sometimes we need to put the swords down, right? What comes to mind a lot that has come up in a lot of the readings is the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is really an energy where you really have done all you can. You've come to a place of realization, of acknowledgement, of truth, that there's a direction that you must now take. You are basically turning your back on something, a situation. For some of you, it could be people, where you're not in alignment. Okay. You're tired of the fight. Okay. Because in any relationship, there must be reciprocity. Okay. Because when there is no reciprocity, the relationship will fail. All right. So I don't look at the Six of Swords as being a defeated energy. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is walking away. But let's tune in on the positives, right? The positives is that you have gone through something. For some of you, you have tried and you have tested it. And you come to a place where, and I'm talking about love relationships here, you come to a place where you're really recognizing that I'm not growing. This is stagnant. The wishes are not being fulfilled. And I've had sometimes clients will say to me, I really wanted this connection to work out. I put in a lot of time. I put in a lot of energy. And I feel like a failure because I did everything I could do. But what happens when love isn't enough? What happens when your love, you're loving someone, isn't enough because they are not loving you? What happens then? It's a hard question for so many people. And a lot of times it brings despair and it brings disappointment. It brings discouragement because what happens when you've done all you can? Where do I turn to? Where do I go? What happens when I've done all I can? I don't want to give up because what if there's something extra? What if I could just go a little bit further? You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me, the energy reminds me, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. And I could play it all day. And it is the song by artist Patti Smythe, and I believe Don Henley. They're both singing on the track. And when it's called Sometimes Love Just Ain't Enough. And I can tell you it is so profound because what happens when you have given everything that you have and you realize that not every relationship can be fixed. That sometimes it's not, I don't feel like, this is my opinion. I don't feel like it's so much that you didn't give enough, but if the other person is not reciprocating, because it takes two. It takes two. What do you do when it takes two? How do I move on from the pain? How do I move on from the heartbreak? Because I did everything that I could do. And sometimes we must realize that the persons in front of us may not be where we are. They may not want the same things that we want. Even if they told you that that's what they wanted. Because in life, as we all know, people can change their minds. They told you they wanted you, they told you they loved you, they told you that you were the one. But what happens a few months later, or for some people, years later, that changes. What happens when your love, your commitment didn't change, but theirs did? What happens then? So, my lovelies, I totally understand that at some point, some people decide to walk away. When the support is gone, when they feel that the love is no longer there, and there's nothing else left to say. That does not mean that you will never get your 10 of cups. That does not mean that real love does not exist, because it does. Sometimes the person that we love may not have the capacity to love us back. And it also brings us to the point where we are on different journeys. For some people, it could be timing. For some, it's total deception. Okay, so I'm going to call it for what it is. It started in a lie and ended in a lie. For others, it's fear. I'm afraid to commit because I feel that I'm going to miss something. I feel that there's something better for me. So, it's about coming into truth. It's about coming into revelation. Okay. And whether we want to deal with it or not, whether we want to accept the truth or not, pain is pain. Whether it happened today, yesterday, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 4 years ago, it hurts. And that's why I have consistently said on this channel, it is a channel of healing. It is a channel of encouragement. And some of us, we're just going through it. We're taking baby steps. We're putting one foot in front of the other. We're doing the best that we can. So, my message today is with the Six of Swords. The fight has been exhausting for somebody. I don't know who this message is for, but you have decided to walk in your truth. You have decided you need a good night rest. You have decided that love no longer hurts. And you are no longer looking behind you in what you lost. You are looking in front of you for what you have gained. And what you have gained is clarity and perspective on what you want and what you don't want. And I'm not saying that any pain is going to heal overnight. But what I am saying is that sometimes we need to recognize the truth about who we are and who the other person is that is in front of us. There we can make, with judgment here, a decision. So I want to say, my lovelies, let's focus on the positives. Sometimes winning is losing, especially if it never brought you any peace in the first place. Sometimes it's how we view things. Sometimes it's our perspective. It's the lens that we're looking through. So instead of feeling like you're in a place where you lost, you really didn't lose if it was never meant for you in the first place. Sometimes, in order for us to get to where we're really going, we may have to leave situations behind that are not helping us to grow. And I know when someone or a person is in it, they don't see it that way because you're just feeling the disappointment and the pain. So you're in the now, and I totally get it. Because when I'm doing readings, I see the energies, I feel it, okay? And no one wants to get hurt. No one. I've never done a personal reading where the person says to me, I started this journey, and I wanted to be betrayed. I wanted to be left. I wanted to be ghosted. Nobody goes into it with that in mind. Okay, I've never done a reading where I had a client say to me, "Yeah, I this is what I wanted." No, that's just not how it happens. It unfolds that way. Okay, people do not meet people and say, "Hello, my name is such and such, and I'm going to, betray you. I'm going to lie on you. I'm going to cheat on you. Would you like to go out to dinner?" That's not how it works. That's not how it works. So let's get real. Let's get honest and understand that betrayal is betrayal, period. Pain is pain, period. No matter which direction it's coming from, it hurts. However, you will never be the right person for the wrong person. So you have the ability to heal. So look at it as though the person did you a favor. Because now you can move on and get what you truly deserve. I am telling you, you can do it. So this is one of Lilly's gems. Please, let's focus on the positives. Take one day at a time if you need to. Stay encouraged. Stay beautiful. Stay beautiful. Do not let anybody deplete your spirit. Keep moving, keep loving, keep learning. Keep laughing, keep smiling, and let's move on to another day. I want to thank everyone. Always blessings to all of you. Stay beautiful, my lovelies, and take care.